What's going on, everybody? This is Danny Made It, and I'm sure you guys know who's on this time. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, though. What's going on?
Hey Danny, how's it going? I guess introduce myself to everybody. My name is Oscar Galindo. I work for Prep Red Zone, Nebraska. We cover, high school football players all across the state. Try to help them get a little recruiting boost here, wherever we can. So, I'm thankful. Danny invited me to be on the show, and I'm hoping we can give you guys a good listen here, a good watch, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna actually go over Class A preview in this one. We'll kind of start off this of some reactions of last week. I know it's a little while ago at this point, but
Yeah.
I'll go first. I don't think this is too much of a surprise. I predicted both of these teams to win, and you could really forecast this happening from really early on in the season. Yeah, so kind of how did you feel about last week?
Yeah, I think kind of you hit the nail right on the head there. There's kind of a matchup we've all really been predicting. We knew there were some contenders here and there that probably could have made it. I think the last four teams there in Class A were probably the top four teams in my opinion in the season. I think you always want to see the top four make it to that level, and I think they did. But yeah, this is a matchup I think we've been waiting on since last year's state championship. I thought this is one that we thought we were going to be seeing, last year with Millard South before, Elkhorn South took over there. But yeah, definitely an outcome I think most of us expected. Um, I'm surprised some of those the Millard South or the Westside North game got as out of hand as it did. I thought the way North came out firing, I thought it was going to be one that came down to that last possession, but yeah, not a ton of surprise on my end, I guess.
Yeah, I think for that Omaha North game, I think Tyson Terry was out. It doesn't look like he played, I don't think. But that might
Yeah,
contribute a little bit to this game. I have some notes about some of the interior guys, but yeah, this is a year that I'm kind of excited that and for a state championship game because I don't think Westside is as beatable as they or as unbeatable as they have been for the past.
hmm
But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get started on the specifics here. We're going to start off on the Millard South offense versus this West Side defense. I'll start here with the Millard South offense. They have, as everyone knows, they have these explosive playmakers everywhere. That's Jet Tamala, Amari and Jackson, Amir Hill, Chase Lofton, and then Gabe Pruka. And then they also have a pretty good offensive line. Their tackles specifically are very good. Their left tackle 74 and then the right tackle 66. They're excellent in pass protection. They can get it done in the run game, but you kind of see this team really thrive through the air, and you see that on the box score as well. So, what do you have for this Millard South offense or West Side defense?
Yeah, so obviously this is the Millard South offense that's been kind of the talk of Class A pretty much all off season with the additions they had and Chase Lofton. I think you mentioned left tackle Landon Von Sagern. He was a monster addition for them. I was like, wow. I remember telling them back before the season even started. Can't remember if I told Landon or if I told Jet, but I'm like, dude, Jet has more weapons and more protection than the president does at any given time. Like he's just loaded back there. Like he has protection. He has anybody he could throw to. You want to throw your 4-star tight end. Chase Lofton's covered. All right, dump it off to your 3-star Isaac Jensen. Oh, they're both somehow covered. All right, dump it off to Amarion Jackson, who's also a 3-star. Hey, and just to throw in a wrinkle, just as if they didn't have enough weapons, then you have Amir Hill who came over from Central, and he's just been absolutely insane in the role that they've given him. He's someone that's sneaky good. We've been kind of banging the drum on that one for coaches to start paying attention to him a little bit more since last season, and this year I think he's kind of opened a little bit more eyes. So yeah, I think all those weapons, I think it's going to be extremely difficult to. I mean, we haven't seen it so far this season, besides maybe Basha when they played them, but it's going to be very tough to contain them. One thing I will say about Westside, or I guess touch a little bit on Westside's defense, is I think this is kind of an underrated group in general. They I was kind of looking at some stats, and although they don't really, they haven't really produced some of those eye-popping numbers that they did last year. They had a ton of, great players that can get to the quarterback. Um, and they had, Caleb Benning back there. But, the youth that they've shown and the growth that they've shown this season it's been incredible to watch, especially, you have Bryson Williams back there who, has two offers, FCS offers. Reed McIntyre is a very underrated defensive back. And then one thing that I think will be kind of an X factor to watch in this game is I did notice Keenan Cotton is getting some playing time on defense now. So I don't think he's done very much this whole season. So, having him at cornerback, he's a player I think is a D1 caliber player on offense or as a receiver or as a defensive back. And then you get extra value out of him with his effectiveness as a returner or whatever. But yeah, seeing him at defensive back, I think could be huge for the Westside Warriors defense. Someone who can match up well against those guys, and hopefully at least take one of those players out of the equation. So that's kind of where I'm at right there on both of those squads, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch up on a little bit more on each unit. Westside's defense, how they kind of play is they are gonna send a lot of looks at you. They got to make you think, and I think that they're gonna make that Millard South offense think a lot more. They disguise some rushes, they disguise some blitzes, some stunts, and all of that. So they do move guys around, especially Christian Jones. He floats from side to
Mhm.
side, and maybe he'll get on the side of a wide nine technique or something. So it's really just kind of hard to account for that. But that kind of leaves some matchup stylistic difference here because Miller South does run a tempo, fast, no huddle type of offense. So maybe some of that disguising stuff won't work as well because it is
Mhm.
you kind of need that extra time to set up your defense. But um, I think that it's definitely Westside can definitely compete with that offense, but I think the offense just has a lot of firepower, and even if they do have a couple stops, that Millard South offense is it's inevitable that they are going to have success in this game and really any game. So um, well, I'll kind of go back over to the Millard South offense to just what I haven't touched up on, but they're successful in every type of play style. They have these they can be run heavy. As of late against Millard North, they ran the ball very well in that game, and they also has some wide receiver screens. You saw Amir Hill take one back pretty far. I don't remember the yardage exactly, but he's one of those guys that you have to account for, and you just have to account for everyone in this offense. So that just makes it extremely difficult as a defense to process everything that's going on with this Millard South offense. So that kind of leads us to West Side's offense. I'll let you start on this one. West Side's offense versus Millard South's defense.
Yeah, Westside's offense. I got a chance to watch them in person. It was week one, so it was still, a lot of, installing new players and players in new roles, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, new quarterback. It's not easy to replace a quarterback like Anthony Rizak from last season, but Braylon Warren has been tremendous and in stepping up as QB1 for the Warriors. Um, yeah, he has some good weapons out there. But I think what's kind of really been how should I say, like the biggest takeaway for my end for this offense is just the emergence of Tay Jenkins. I don't think there's an angrier, more physical runner out there this season, or there's probably a couple, but still one of the more angrier, nastier runners in the state, and he's just a player that he just turns it up, man. It seems like there's been a couple games where it seems like they maybe the Omaha West Side offense maybe a little slow to start, and then you just see Tate break one for like 50, and it's like just a downpour from then on. So, they have great offensive line. Owen James, uh, Connor Wayne, just some of the two main guys that I know on the offensive line that have been kind of pivotal. Um, but yeah, a lot of under the radar players, I believe, like Mo Purify, Eli Johnson is starting to emerge as a really, true threat for as a receiving target. Um, but yeah, it's just an offense that I feel like it's still growing. I still don't, how should I say? I feel like we haven't seen a full, complete game from this offense. But every time they get faced with a new challenge, they evolve from it and they grow from it and they end up coming out, smelling like roses, I guess, if you want to say that. But yeah, so I've been very impressed with this Westside offense. I do think, they're very underrated. I know it's kind of hard to underrate a state championship, team. But yeah, I think people have kind of been overlooking this West Side offense a little bit just because just some of the stuff, some of the numbers and stuff that they've been putting up over on Millard South. But yeah, still very much an offense that can get it done. I think Braylon Warren, when it's time for him to answer the bell, I think he can do that very well. And then obviously, Tay Tay, he's going to be running hard for them all game. So it's going to come down to how well the offensive line holds up. I don't think they've played defense. They haven't played a defensive line as tough as this one, especially one that could, rush or get to the quarterback with just four, rushing four. So yeah, that's going to be a challenge for them if they're able to, get generate a push at the offense in the trenches and open lanes for Tate. I think this offense will be able to find their footing and do what they do. But yeah, it's going to be the battle up front that is going to be the determining factor, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned the fronts, of course. The biggest dynamic in this game for Westside versus Millard South's defense. I think that it's the offensive line paired with Tay Jenkins. Their offensive line is just a really, really solid run blocking unit, and I think that kind of shows because Tay Jenkins, when you kind of look at his plays, he's a one cut and go type of guy, and he can break some tackles from there. But it's kind of a Millard South needs to do their jobs on defense. They need to stay disciplined because this is a really good unit. They also have Eli Johnson you touched up on. He's a red zone threat, I think, or really just anywhere on the field, but he's a tall guy that can go up and get it. So I think that Westside is well more or more than equipped to hang with some of any of these Class A offenses. So defensive, my mistake. And then kind of how Miller South kind of plays defense. They're kind of vanilla outside of third downs, and that's where I kind of think that that this West Side offense is going to prevail because they don't really get into any of their crazy stuff until third down. And on third downs they kind of send some guys. They'll send one or two guys on a blitz, or they'll show it and then back up in coverage. But I think that if you're not showing your creativity on those early downs, I think that Westside is really going to take advantage of that. And I think that they will. This is another matchup where I think the offense has the advantage again. So, yeah, so that's kind of where we're going to wrap up on the preview part, unless you have anything more to say. That's kind of all I have in my mind and notes.
No, I mean, I think a little bit on that, that point that you made here last about, them not really showing a whole ton of blitzes. I do know they had been banged up a little bit at linebacker throughout the season. I don't think they've really had their full linebacking core that they started with for quite a few games. So I wonder if that may be a little bit. I do know they get Tegan Urban back, and he's a playmaker. So, maybe something to note. I think looking forward could be, a little bit of a. They could add a little bit of a wrinkle on defense. Maybe someone else that can, take those opportunities of blitzing, wreaking havoc up there. But yeah, I do believe, or I do agree with you on that point that, you know, maybe need to expand that a little bit more, but who knows if that maybe with the injuries playing part of it.
Yeah, as someone who watches a lot of every class's film, I kind of it's kind of crazy to think that an offense has an advantage over a front that I believe is better. I think that the Millard South's defensive front, or their interior at least, is a little bit better than the West Side's offensive line. So it's kind of crazy. I'll just put that out there, just because Class A is
Yeah,
kind of a different breed of football. And
yeah.
I forgot to mention those guys up front for Millard South are very solid. That's number 54 and 82. They're pretty good. So I think that's
Yeah,
going to be definitely,
that too.
yeah. I think they're definitely going to have to be accounted for. But yeah, we'll swing into our picks. I'll let you go first. Who do you have in as coming out as winner on Monday night?
Man, this is one that I've been going back and forth on, basically since these matchups. came into the or the picture cleared up for this matchup. Um, yeah, it's very tough. It seems almost illogical to pick against a well-coached team. With great talent and the coaching, like I said, Coach Lamanji is an amazing coach, and they have a great staff there, a very well-run program. And they've been on an insane run the past 6 years. I believe it was a sixth straight state championship appearance. Um, and yeah, like I said, it feels dumb to pick against a team like Westside with the players that they have, with the culture that they have, with the coaching that they have. But I think in the end, I do believe the weapons and just the explosiveness of that Millard South offense will be able to come out on top. I think they've shown that they could score points and gain yardage basically at will. And they've been on a run of like 500 or 3 games or so, and I think like 6 out of their 9 or however many games this season have been over 500 yards of total offense. So I think if the defense is able to slow down, that off or knock down that West Side offensive line and slow down Tay and get to Braylon. Yeah, I think this will be Millard South winning it. Obviously, all due respect to West Side, I have a ton of respect for that program, but this team is stacked, man. This team was built basically to beat a team like West Side. So, yeah, I think that'll be my pick is Millard South.
Yeah, you said the weapons. I That's another one of my points that I was going to make. The weapons are just too much, I think. And I also think that Millard South is just really good overall. So, and they have that potential to actually win that trench battle. Although I don't think it's as possible, but it's definitely there because they do have personnel advantage, at least as what I've seen. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Millard South again. I think we got two Millard South guys. Yeah, so that's who I'm gonna pick. I think that that loss early on in the season is actually a big part in this. They've faced some adversity, whereas Westside really they've had some close games here, but they haven't lost. So I think the
Yeah.
loss is actually going to be a pretty big factor in this game. But we'll move on here. This is the first time we're gonna on Danny Made's channel that we're gonna be doing a Class A fantasy draft consisting of the two teams in the state championship. How this is gonna work, we'll just kind of go back and forth and pick the guys. I'll keep track of the scores and I'll put it up on social media somewhere. But we'll be taking a quarterback, one running back, one wide receiver, a tight end, and then a flex, and that can be anyone outside of a quarterback. So I usually let the guests go first. So who are you picking first, Oscar?
Are we going quarterback first, or is it just anybody?
Pick anybody.
Are we talking PPR? Are we getting points per reception here? Or, yeah,
PPR.
that might change some things. But I think I'm gonna go with a safe pick. I think I'll go Jet Tomla. He's been putting up monster numbers all season. I don't see why he wouldn't again.
And he's also been actually scrambling a lot as of late. So I think that he
Yeah.
can some rushing upside there as well. Um, for my pick, it's kind of buggy. We have a lot of good players, but yeah, you kind of don't know the matchups as well as maybe you'd like.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to go with Tay Jenkins here. He's just been that guy for all year, and I can't expect him to get shut out. So I think he's gonna have probably 100 yards because he has had that, and I think all but 2 games this year, I believe. But yeah, I'll take Tay Jenkins here.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. He's always due to get his for sure. So I think my next pick. Trying to think here. They got all those Millard South weapons. But I think I'm gonna secure my running back. I'm gonna get Gabe. Uh, is it Prucha or Pruka? And
I think it's
heard
Pruka.
it. I don't know how I've heard it pronounced.
I think it's Pruka.
Pruka. Okay, I've been
But
saying Prucha.
yeah,
But yeah, I'll take Gabe. Solidify my backfield there with Jet and Gabe there.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I'm gonna go with Kenyon Cotton of Westside. I'm gonna take the two Westside guys. I think that Kenyon Cotton has the most volume. I think that Millard South kind of throws it around everywhere on offense. So I'm gonna take the volume
Yeah.
dense guy here, Kenyon Cotton.
All right. And then I'll go, I think for my receiver, yeah, my receiver, I'm going Amarion Jackson.
Marion
Yeah, I
Jackson,
think.
you guys stay put.
Mhm.
We have a player interview right after this segment here, so we got Marion Jackson on the talk for a little bit. So you stay put. And we also got Eli Johnson. Just throw that in now. But for my next pick, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Chase Lofton just to secure the tight end number one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my tight end, I will be picking, I'll go Isaac Jensen.
Who was your last pick before that?
Amarion.
Okay. Um,
Got all Miller South.
I mean that works. So, but I'm gonna go with Eli Johnson as my flex here.
Yeah, he's been like you mentioned, great target from anywhere, but especially in that red zone, he's just a beast. Just so tough to great route runner, good size as well. Um, Sweet. So then that puts me at I got my quarterback, my running back, my receiver, tight end. So my flex. Um, Trying to think who can I get here? Give me a Amir Hill.
Another good pick. But for the last, my quarterback is opening, so I'm going to take the West Side quarterback. That's Warren from West Side. That'll conclude the draft and the player or playoff preview and predictions. Thank you, Oscar, for coming on. I'm sure that the viewers were like seeing me and you collaborate a little bit, but yeah, well, just a little bit of a reminder of where we guys can find you as we wrap up the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, thank you for having me on. It was great talking to you. Great catching up a little bit here and talking some Class A ball. Big fan of what you're doing. I guess where you can find me at is Prep Red Zone Nebraska, Twitter and Instagram. And then I have my own PRZ Oscar G, Twitter and Instagram. I don't know the handles off the top of my head. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll
Not good
include
about
those, everything I can. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like PRZ underscore Oscar G. But then yeah, hoping I've been battling, been sick a couple days, so I haven't been able to get back on the official visit, but I'm hoping to get some more content out on there on YouTube, some player interviews and stuff like that once we get the ball rolling a little bit more, and especially after state championships, I don't like kind of bothering people and stuff. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
of course, but thanks again for coming on, and we will see you guys another time.
All
All right.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the first out of the two interviews here. I'll let you introduce yourself. How you feeling?
My name's Eli Johnson. I play receiver for Westside, and I feel good.
All right, well, we'll get right into these questions. You guys have had another dominant season up to this point. How does it feel for you and the players to have a team like Millard South on the schedule up next?
It feels really good to play a really good team like Millard South. I know my teammates and I are really excited about it, but we just got to take these next couple of days of preparation really seriously, and we can't look too far forward, and we got to be ready come Monday.
Yeah, from the outside, West Side is seen as the Tay Jenkins show with he gets a lot of volume. But you guys, of course, have some playmakers through the air as well. How important is it for West Side to have an offense that is diverse in this game, especially against a top tier team?
Yeah, we know teams, especially like Millard South, they'll try and stop our run. So we got to make sure we're doing the best we can, blocking and getting in there for our guys to free up holes for Tay. And also, when our number's called, we got to be ready to make the big play.
All right, this offensive unit you guys have is extremely young. How do you guys prepare and get into the right headspace before big games like this?
I would really just say it's trust. We all trust in our preparation and our game plan, and we always trust in each other and our coaches. And yeah, I think that's what it really is.
All right, and then for the last interview question here, if you had to say one thing positive about Millard South, what would that be?
Um, I would say they're a really talented team. That's what I'll say.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to watching you guys play. And good luck in Monday night, I believe.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for coming on. I'm excited to watch.
Yeah.
Right. What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is Danny Made It, and we're heading into the player preview part. And this time, I'm sure you guys know who this guy is, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Uh, what's going on?
Oh, what's up? Samarion Jackson from Millard South, wide receiver and free safety. But just chilling.
How you feeling?
I feel good, just trying to prep for this upcoming Monday night.
I got you. All right, so we're gonna start off. We're just gonna get right into it. So out of the gate, you and Miller South travel to Arizona to take on a top team. How big was that for you and the guys to then go on an 11 game winning streak and then beat all Nebraska competition?
I feel like it was a very big part of our season. We go down to Arizona and you go see a kind of different competition down there. So it's unlike teams that we see in Nebraska. So I feel like even though we didn't get the win like we wanted, you kind of get down there, you compete right off the bat. So that kind of set us up for a lot of success coming back to Nebraska, being able to know what we can get better at and what our kind of strengths were. I think that kind of set us off to go on that, like you said, 11-game win streak.
All right, my second question. Last week, you guys faced one of the top defensive units in Class A football. How does this Westside defense stack up, and how do you prepare to face a defensive unit like that?
Yeah, Westside obviously has a good defense. They're a real good team overall, but I feel like every game we come out the same. We come out fast, just try and play our game. Big plays are going to happen on both sides of the ball, but we just try and control what we can control and give our effort and try and put it in the end zone.
Yeah, you guys are an offense that lets everybody eat. How important is that to stay diverse and get the ball around the field to all your playmakers?
Yeah, it's real. It's good on our team. We have a lot of coach always says we have one of the most selfless teams probably around. We got a lot of weapons, a lot of people that can go out and make plays, but we're all a bunch of unselfish guys, and we know. And I mean, at the end, kind of where we are, the main goal is to just get the job done and go out there and win it all.
All right, and for our final interview question, if you had to say one thing positive about Westside, what would that be?
They have some great coaches on there. I mean, obviously, I think there's like their sixth time being down there at state, so they're a little bit more experienced, but I feel like it'll be a real good game.
All right, well, I appreciate you for coming on, and I'm excited to watch this game, and I wish you good luck. You have anything
Yep.
to say as you head off?
No, roll Pats.
All right, appreciate
Yep.
you coming on then, bro.
Yep. No problem.
Good luck.